Hi there, fans for Onside SA. We're time for another week of football. We've had the Champions League during the week, and we've now got a weekend full of PSL games, EPL. We've got everything. Budge, last one standing, is getting thin now.
Yeah, boys are starting to have to think a lot now, Paul. A lot of boys took the gas last week with Bournemouth and Wolves, so it's pressure's on now, Paul.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, there's 17 of 47 left. Favourite is now Trevor Fourie, who's the only one who's got 2 left. It's really getting thin. But the boys who went through were Tottenham, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Everton. So 17 of 47. Trevor Fourie's favourite, last one standing to win that flight and accommodation to the UK. This next weekend, Budge is travelling with the guy who won the rugby.
Tony, yep.
Tony Barrett's going over. Okay, we're trying to, we're getting Stevie B, the international pundit. He's in the London office to... Right, Stevie, morning to you.
Morning.
It's got a hell of a feedback here, guys. There's incredible feedback. I cannot hear Stevie. Will you just try him again, please? Thank you. That's got rid of the feedback. Sorry about that, folks, but the feedback was coming through thick and fast. We'll get Stevie back on the line now and get a clean line. Budge, while we get Steve back on the line, let's talk about Champions League Tuesday and Wednesday. Man United, Juventus, your take on the game?
Yeah, just outclass, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to read ex-players, and Scholes is one comment. He's been scathing in Mourinho, but his one comment is right. Since we've been there, the team hasn't improved. You know, we got totally outplayed, totally outclassed.
There were stages where they couldn't touch the ball.
You know, and Ronaldo's just going through the motions. You know, it was just embarrassing, to be honest. There's trouble in the camp. We're not good enough. But it was interesting reading. I think it's the Forza Italia, the newspaper. They were scathing on Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, and the guy Anthony Martial. Said all they do is run with the ball. They don't contribute anything else. They run as fast as they can, give the ball away, run to get it back. There's no class. There's no commitment, team ethic. And he said, that's for Luke Shaw. Couldn't believe they were scathing on how bad he was. Doesn't defend. All he wants to do is bomb forward. And but it's nice to hear from the Italians, because all we hear are the English people. But no, Paul, we're miles away.
Miles away. Okay, so top 4 could be a distant
No,
thing.
the only... I said to one of the guys in the Toad yesterday, the only chance United have got to get back in the Champions League is if we win the Europa League again. That's the only chance, because we got no chance top 4, Paul.
Man City, Cantor.
Yeah, they got players, Paul. They got good midfield players, and De Bruyne comes back. They got players. They bought well. You know, we'll see how far they can go, because they always seem to be found wanting at the end, but they'll be close.
I'm just watching
season.
these top sides in Europe. They're better than us.
The
Man City on form are top side, but they're miles ahead
Paul,
of us.
they've got midfield players. Last night I watched PSG and Napoli. What a game. Napoli can play, Paul. Hamzik and those guys. Injury time equaliser from Di Maria. Fair result at the end.
How did Barcelona end up?
They were 2-0.
They were 1-0.
I watched Inter Milan. I watched the Milan dog with AC Milan on the weekend. The goalkeeper came fishing. Otherwise, it was a dinkum 0-0 draw.
Okay, then Wednesday. Any good luck with Stevie, guys? Then on Wednesday, right, let's put Steve back on.
Guys.
Steve? No, I can't, Steve. I've got incredible feedback in my ear. I don't know what it is. It sounds like there's a train in my ear. They're having a technical glitch and they're going to try again. Budge, let's get on to Tottenham, my beloved Tottenham. Now, I watched them completely dominated the game, possession, everything, shots and chances. 2 shocking soft goals, giving away a back pass, and then you get caught on the ball and you go around and deflects into the net. The second one, the keeper has to go. It's hands for a long time. They can keep Sissoko, Davies, Lloris. If you're not going to buy players, don't play Lloris. Did you see him in the World Cup final against Croatia?
Well, that's what it was 4-1 game over, and he tried a trick and he got caught. Mandzukic caught him. Now, Paul, towards the end of last year, he started tossing them in. Came back against Barcelona, first minute, flying off the line. Wow.
I'm just had it. He's one of these small French goalkeepers in the mold of Barthez that don't come for crosses. The centre halves have got no confidence in them. They bring Harry Kane back. They bring everybody back now because they've got no confidence. They had 2 set pieces against Watford. They had set pieces against Madrid. the centre-halves have got no confidence. The
Yeah.
keeper's not coming.
You can't play him now. David De Gea, while he hasn't had the best of seasons, Smalling and those guys, he's kept them in jobs.
Yeah, that's
Because
right.
if Lloris had been at Man United, I tell you, it'd have been,
Yeah,
the
they'd
turnover of defenders would have been frightening. And it's because we've got De Gea, we've been content.
Lloris's time's up. People got to
Yeah.
realise it happens to everybody. He was a good goalkeeper in his day, good reflex keeper, but you and I could play on the line,
Well,
man.
look at Liverpool, Paul. Now they've got a decent goalkeeper.
They don't concede.
Don't concede.
They've got great centre halves now, and
Yeah.
them a youngster and the Rolls Royce of centre halves, Virgil van Dijk, and they are so confident at the back. They don't concede often.
Yeah, you look at all great teams. When United won the treble, Jaap Stam was the brains behind. Obviously, we had Schmeichel behind it, but Jaap Stam, the Tony Adams and the Arsenal, the Terrys.
Seaman.
You need leaders at the back.
Yes.
And
No, I agree, and it's going to come and haunt them. Well, Tottenham now on a shoestring of chance of getting through, but then Liverpool, I think, just about top their group now.
Paul, that's a tough group. There's a couple of big games still
There's
to come.
three big sides. I think Red Star are rubbish.
Yeah.
We're going to try again and get Stevie B on the line at the moment, and we'll just talk about Steve. You there? Okay, they're just checking our sound system, Steve. But this is the first time I've got feedback like that. Are you still there, Steve?
I can hear you fine, but obviously
I can't.
I can hear
Budge
you,
is
Steve.
clear.
Well, you've got
yes,
the
Marge, I can hear you. Morning.
Have we got rid of the buzz? Is the buzz there?
Got rid of the gremlins.
Okay. Steve, what do you think of the United-Juventus game on Tuesday?
Well, I mean, there was only one team, in it. I mean, I thought Juventus completely bossed the game. I heard your comments. I mean, I was just waiting for United to get going, and they never did. I mean, it was a poor performance, really poor. There's just something obviously is not right because it's just like a team of individuals that just weren't playing as a team together at all.
Yeah, they're well organised. When
Very
Max.
well organised.
Thank you.
But I mean, again, they've got. You look at their defence. I mean, you've got a combined age of Bonucci and Chiellini of about 150, and they weren't tested at all. I mean, Lukaku never won a ball in the air.
Yeah.
Every time Martial and Rashford tried to sort of run through a brick wall, they just didn't seem to be any guile at all. It was just seemed, they just seemed sort of clueless as how to break them down.
Yeah. Steve, can you hear me?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. I saw a poster of Lukaku is what's that Arsenal striker? His name just escapes me, but I saw a very funny cartoon. It was Welbeck. It was Lukaku is like Welbeck with a bit more weight.
No, I mean he had a poor game. I mean he never really got into the game. In all honesty,
Outplayed, I thought. And then
very disappointing.
did you watch last night, Steve?
At the same time, you've got City playing some fabulous sort of football, and it's a big win. Not many teams go to Shakhtar and win as easily as that.
Yeah. Steve, can you give any English side a chance in winning the Champions League?
Well, I think the only team that was capable, probably, I would think. I mean, Liverpool will give it a go again. A City, I think, if City sort of really hit top form, but I think United will be fortunate to get out of the group. In all honesty, even though they've got a weak group, I mean, they've got to do something in Valencia.
Yeah,
that's absolutely true. So, Champions League, it looks like City, but City seem to catch the last hurdle, don't they, Budge?
Yep.
They do. I mean, this is something that they haven't quite sort of got sort of past the sort of later stages. So, but it's they are on their day. They do play some attractive football.
Yeah. Stevie, let's talk about Fulham. You're a stalwart there.
I was hoping that the feedback would last long enough. It was a poor, very poor.
Conceding goals, Steve.
Patches they played well. They scored a couple of good goals, but defensively, we just can't keep making excuses for injuries because whatever four you put at the back with the goalkeeper have got to do better. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, how do you see this week against Bournemouth? Because if you keep defending like that, you get, be under pressure again.
Well, this worries me. I mean, Bournemouth played with a lot of pace.
Yeah.
I watched the highlights. My brother was at the Watford Bournemouth game, and he said they were the best team that they played. I mean, they just break very quickly from the back. They've got a lot of pace. I really rate Callum Wilson, who's been out with quite a lot of injuries, but I think he's a very strong, fast centre forward. And I think that's sort of what we lack is that Mitrovic, as much as for all his skill and everything, he hasn't got the pace.
Yeah.
So he has to stay up there as opposed to sort of breaking quickly.
Okay, let's talk. So Fulham, you're certainly under the cosh, but conceding goals is a problem. But let's look at the main game of the weekend. Has got to be Spurs Man City, and after watching Spurs last night and they're giving away soft goals, and Man City seems to be a juggernaut picking up steam.
Well, I think that again. I mean, watched it yesterday. When Tottenham played well in patches. I mean, that game should have been wrapped up long before Lloris had a rush of blood. And I know that. I mean, you've commented on this before, Paul, about him sort of doing that, and at the time, I think it's hurt them, and I think they're in a very precarious position in the group at the moment. You have to say the way City are playing. You can't look much beyond an away win. I think Tottenham do well to hold them.
They'll do well to get a point. I agree with you. And Budge, they're not a defensive side in the sense of they want to go forward. Spurs.
Yeah. I just get worried about it. So you can't play that a goalkeeper.
Yeah, we got no goalie.
You look at Man City after Joe Hart, they had the Costa Rican keeper, Bravo, not good enough. And they got this boy, Edilson, 45 million. And
Brilliant.
you can see
Liverpool,
he's
brilliant.
Safe. Yeah.
Stevie, just talking on goalkeepers before we got you on the air, how he's really, he might have won a World Cup, but he gave away a silly goal against Croatia. He's done it 4 times last year for us. His time's up, in my opinion, and the defenders.
There's something not right there at the moment. I mean, obviously, he's making too many mistakes, and obviously this whole situation being out after the drink driving. I mean, it's almost like he's on a sort of self-destruct button. But he really didn't need to come out yesterday.
No.
2 defenders closing in. He had to have more belief in his defenders. But if you're going to come out, you've got to sort of be absolutely sure you're going to get that ball. And he was nowhere near it.
Nowhere near it. He took the player out. It just puts us on the back foot. The game we should have won. Anyway.
Steve, Southampton, Newcastle. 2 teams going the wrong way. How do you see that working out?
Yeah, I think that's quite a pivotal game at the bottom there. I mean, Newcastle, although they're bottom, they're losing by sort of 1 goal and away from home. I mean, they're not conceding many.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Southampton are not scoring many either. I think if Southampton are going to get out of it, I think this is the sort of game they're going to have to win. I think they'll be very close. I just got the feeling Southampton might pinch it by 1 goal.
Yeah. Steve, on to the Championship. I see Derby destroyed West Brom last night. You see them?
Big. It's a bit of a shock.
Yeah,
shock for me.
At one point, the pundits went flicking through the channels. They were saying that Derby kept scoring against the run of play, but obviously when you get to about 3-0, I think that goes out the window. And in the end, with all the results this week, Leeds have sort of come from sort of behind, as it were, to go top of the table.
Well, there's 3 teams.
Having only sort of won 2 of the last 8.
Yeah.
Before last night, so
Derby
very,
top
very
for you?
close at the top, which actually makes it quite interesting because the last couple of seasons we've had teams like Wolves or Brighton or Newcastle have just sort of walked away with it. But so this year you've got, I think, the top 7 divided by 2 points.
Yeah, I see the big games: Leeds, Notts Forest. That's the latest.
Yeah, I mean Forest just starting. I mean just starting to a little bit of form. It was a good win for them. I mean, they'd drawn too many games, but they find themselves only sort of 2 points adrift at the moment. So I think that's going to be a close game. I think I would sort of say probably more likely a draw there.
And you've seen the mighty press at North End, 2 home wins in a row, unbeaten in 4.
Well, I was going to say that was it was the game of the night. When I saw it was 3-0, you think it could be anything, and then but the sounds of it, Brentford sort of scored a couple of good goals and got back in it. But,
they can beat Rotherham this week.
Big result, and I think that sort of just keeps Brentford keeps Brentford a little bit further behind than they want to be, and Preston,
just
sort of
moved
clear
away.
The 3 now.
Yeah, I see Aston Villa play Middlesbrough Friday night. Steve, that's obviously you've got that live. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean Villa again had a very poor result. At Norwich midweek. I think they were hoping to do a bit better. They took the lead, but by all accounts, second half it was all Norwich. I think that's a tight game. Obviously, it was the playoff semi-final game. There were 2 tight games between them last time. Middlesbrough surprisingly didn't beat Rotherham at home.
Yeah.
They dominated, and evidently the young Fulham goalkeeper alone at Rotherham made a few good saves. I think that's going to be very close. I can see that one being a draw as well.
Okay.
Okay, it looks very, very interesting, Steve. And It's very tough at the top, but then when one looks at the Premier League, Steve, it's still very congested, top 5 or 6.
Well, I think, after 2 games, everyone was writing Arsenal off, and here they are, 7 wins later, only 2 points off the top. So I think they've, and it's interesting that of those 7 wins, they were level in every one of those 7 games at half-time, but have come on strong in the second half.
That's an interesting set.
Did you see? You obviously watched the game. Should he got a red card for the handball?
Second yellow.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Really. I mean, some refs might give it, others don't. It's I guess the letter of the law. I mean, possibly.
VAR would have given it, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're playing well. He must know what he's doing, that manager. He's come in, he's turned them around. Yep. Chelsea are still doing well. Liverpool, Man City, Spurs are hanging in. It's a good league.
Emery, he's not afraid to sort of swap it around. I mean, he's obviously got his substitutions inspired, because Aubameyang has come on against Fulham and against Leicester in both times, and he scored 2 goals within minutes of coming on.
Yeah,
so
he's got 6 now in the league.
He's obviously sort of feels that he's got the sort of system that's working for him. And they played second half. Arsenal played very well the other night. They were
brilliant. That goal, that was fantastic play by the German. He had a great second half.
Yeah.
Now, how do you see them going at Crystal Palace? Because that's a tight pitch.
Well, again, Crystal Palace are having a poor season. They haven't scored at home.
Yeah.
They've only picked up 1 point, which is a 0-0 draw with Newcastle. Palace are in trouble. I mean, they're only a couple of points themselves adrift at the bottom 3. I think I fancy Arsenal for that. I mean, obviously they've got a tough European game tonight, but he doesn't necessarily play his strongest team away in Europe. So again, I fancy Arsenal to win that.
All right, Stevie, our thoughts are with you, with your team, the mighty Fulham. We don't want to see them go down. They've got the players to score goals, but they've got to stop at the back.
I think so, and I think that, a draw. I mean, the press was speculating that the chairman was coming over and was going to be having words with the manager and giving him 2 games. I'm not sure that's necessarily true. I mean, he is coming over, we know anyway, because he was coming for the American football with the Jags, his team play at Wembley on Sunday. But, we do have a couple of tough games coming up, and obviously our next away game next weekend is Huddersfield away. Sure. And that's a pivotal game.
Yeah.
I think as well. Again,
you get it when you start moving up quickly there, because they're congested top and bottom, and they always are. Yeah. All right, Stevie, that's the latest for today. Thanks very, very much, and I'll see you in the next week or so, Steve.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thank you. Cheers, Steve. Bye now. Right, there's our international pundit, Stevie B. He knows his football. He knows the championship because he's supported Fulham in it, and he knows the Premier League in it. But okay, that's it. So we've done that. Let's talk about the Telkom knockout, the quarterfinals. Maritzburg, Bidvest.
Yeah, well, it's that's a team we back, Bidvest, Wits, Paul. Fair draw. It's strange how all the top teams seem to avoid each other, but anyway, it's a good draw for Wits. Maritzburg will be confident. They just don't score goals anymore, Maritzburg. I know they beat Highlands 2-1 at home the previous round.
That's right, yeah.
But,
Chiefs, what's the story?
Well,
Supersport?
That'll be a tough game. Supersport knocked them out the MTN8 semi-final stage. So it'll be payback. You just never know with Supersport.
Baraka Calcium and Sundowns?
Yeah, you got to fancy Sundowns, especially in the big games.
And Amazulu Pirates.
That'll be a good game, Paul. Tuesday I went for Amazulu. They played Cape Town City. They played well. Deserved to win,
Yeah, they won
deserved to win. Be a hard game,
Swalotini. Yeah,
not
come to the King's
there.
Garden.
Yeah, not easy to
Okay, the finals on the 8th of December. That's the Telkom knockout. Yeah. It's in Port Elizabeth this year.
Yep.
And no 2-legged semi-finals.
No, just extra time penalties.
Interesting. Okay, let's just talk about the midweek results, because the PSL's building up a bit ahead of steam as well. But run me through these. Free State Stars.
Yeah, they equalised late. Clint must have thought his team was home, and a good point at the end of the day, but could have done with the extra 2
Who's
points.
at Free State Stars now?
It's a Belgian guy, Luc Amel.
Okay. Okay, now the top of the log. This is always very interesting. Gavin Hunt's turned them round. Bidvest Wits now lead with 17 points off 9. 16 points of 10 Pirates, Chiefs 14 of 10, and Supersport 8-14. So they could go joint
There's
top.
a couple of teams, and Sundowns as well. They got 2 games in hand. If they win them, they go joint top with Wits. But I'd rather have the points in the games in hand.
Yeah. And Buzz, let's look at the bottom of the log because someone's got to go. Bottom, Amazulu.
Well, they lost the 6 points. You know, they were deducted 6 points because of the FIFA ruling.
Overage player?
No, they terminated the guy's player's contract and never paid him. So they went to FIFA and they got fined they had to pay the player R1 million. I think got fined 500 in costs as well.
Can they get out of it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they're better side than that.
I think they're better
Baraka
side than
Calcium
Baraka.
are struggling on 7 points off 10. So basically, Amazulu have got 2 games on Baraka.
Yeah, I think their home forms will be the key to all those bottom teams.
Cape Town City?
Yeah, you know, they got
7
caught with
points?
the MTN 2 semi-finals. They're struggling, haven't won in a while.
Okay.
So
very interesting
see.
football, some interesting
Yeah,
times.
okay.
Right, Buzz, let's look at the Premier League. They should have a board up there telling us the fixtures. Now, Buzz, run me through your selections here.
You know, Brighton at home, Paul, they've lost 2 of the last 13. You know, Wolves got beat last week. That was the upset of the week, Watford. You just don't know whether it's deflated them. But they won 4 of the last 6. I like Brighton.
Houghton knows what he's doing.
I like
he did
him,
it with
yeah.
Birmingham.
He was at Newcastle. He got them back up. He's well respected.
Yeah.
He's no
Quiet
fool.
man.
He looks a class person. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think the draw is a big player. But if I've got to side with one of the teams, I've got to side with Brighton.
Fulham?
No, I can't have Fulham, Paul, until they turn it around. Bournemouth are
They
one
got
of
players
those.
who can score.
Yep. You know, Bournemouth are a good side.
Yeah, they are.
You know, 14 to 10's in our bets. Sorry, Stevie, but
Bad luck,
until
Stevie. Bad
you
luck,
can't
Stevie.
concede 18 goals, I think, in the last 6 games and expect to get out of it. So it's Bournemouth.
Liverpool, Giants,
Well, it's,
Giants
you
are
know,
done.
you try to find bets. I think it was 5 to 10 Liverpool to score in both halves. To win both halves is 8 to 10. So that's if I was
But
going to.
Cardiff are going to come
They'll
in.
have a go.
Have a go.
Yeah, and
that's
also
it.
Liverpool played Wednesday, so there will be a slight Champions League effect.
I see,
but
is it Mane was back?
yeah, and they got a couple of penalties, so they gave one each. Mane missed his. But you got to fancy
Who took the
Liverpool.
other one? Salah?
Salah scored, yeah. So Cardiff, yeah, they played well against Fulham, but you can't see them away from home at Anfield.
Against, you know, they played well against was Arsenal.
Yeah, they
got
did.
beat 3-2.
But defensively, Paul, you can't give the top teams goals
No,
because they're not going to score. They'll
Liverpool
struggle to
got
score at
pace.
Anfield. Well, Liverpool haven't conceded a goal in the league at Anfield this season. So I got a fancy. Well, 1 to 8 tells it all.
Okay.
Paul,
So
the next game, I don't know. You know, Newcastle, I think.
when are they going to turn it around?
Well, we all keep thinking they're going to turn it around, and they don't. They haven't won in 9 league games. Now, Southampton's last 15 home games, they've won 1 of them. So I think there'll be goals in this because they both must see this as a chance to get out of it.
Have they got players who can score?
I
It's
like
always my
Southampton.
question
I
to you.
just don't know what's going on there. But they drew away at Bournemouth, so that could be a start for Mark Hughes' men. Obviously, Southampton are the 2 teams, but a score draw wouldn't surprise me there.
Watford are a much better team than Huddersfield.
Well, you know, trying to find a reason why Watford wouldn't be shorter than 7 or 10, but Huddersfield surprisingly and scored in every away game this season.
Watford beat Wolves.
They beat Wolves away. You know, Huddersfield drew at Burnley. But you know, Watford, the last 2 home games, they lost to Bournemouth 4-0, stuck you out, and they lost to Man United where they didn't deserve to. But you got to think 7 to 10 Watford. But
Yeah, I think so.
something worries me about that Huddersfield team, Paul. They could have sneaked an equaliser late on against Liverpool.
They didn't score goals.
They don't score. But this could be the game where they sneak a set piece.
Okay, Leicester City, West Ham.
Yeah, I like Leicester City, Paul. You know, without Yeremenko, the Ukrainian, I think they'll be limited up front. I was impressed with Leicester first half against Arsenal.
Yeah, so was I.
You know, if they got the handball, second yellow, 1-0 up,
Could have gone 2.
2-0 up, you know, at home, I fancy Leicester. to
Arsenal
beat
were
West Ham.
brilliant second half.
Yeah.
They're
They're one of those teams, once they get the chance, they've got goal scorers.
Yeah.
But they should have been put away.
So West Ham, their woes continue, you
Yeah.
think? Okay. Burnley at home to Chelsea.
You know, was it 1:30 kickoff in England? The weather will be miserable. The wind will be swirling in that stadium.
I do not want to take 1 to 3.
No, I wouldn't either. But,
wouldn't take 1 to 3.
You know, that'd be a game I would watch. But yeah, just can't see Burnley doing anything. You know, Willian and they're resting Hazard tonight. So sorry, he's a top manager.
Top manager, yeah.
You know, I think they'll win, but I wouldn't be taking the price.
Arsenal, they keep rolling. They can go to Palace and win the derby.
Yep. You know, Palace are going to catch somebody, Paul, especially at home. I know they haven't scored, but they've been competitive at home. And
Soho's
that-
sound, yeah.
You know, Arsenal's the type of team that give you chances.
Yeah.
I can see Arsenal winning it, but I think there'll be plenty of goals in that game, Paul.
Your beloved Man United
Yeah, I
against
think,
Everton.
you know, he's changed the team. He's now playing 1 holding midfield player and 5 attacking players. You know, we went to Chelsea. I was surprised what he did. playing Pogba and Mata, and you got to play the youngsters, Martial, Lukaku, Rashford. Let's have a go, Paul.
Yeah, have a go.
Yeah, I think we'll win. I think there'll be goals in that too, because Everton have won their last 3 games.
Rashford hasn't played badly for his country.
No, he gets chances, but I think he needs creative players around him,
yeah.
Paul, and we haven't got that.
Matta's not too bad.
He's one pace, but he's a clever player.
Clever player, yeah. Okay, then Tottenham, Man City. I think this is.
You like Man City?
I like Man City strongly. I've seen every single minute of Tottenham's football I've watched. I went screamed at them. Somebody euthanized Sissoko. They're trying to sell him.
Yeah.
Davies can't get the ball across anymore.
No,
he just can't defend enough. The keeper is finished.
Yeah.
There are 3 key players. The rest of the players are good players, but there's no confidence. The ball comes in the box. They got to bring Harry Kane back, everyone back. Defend, boys, defend. Yeah. And last night they go with free kick after free kick. I wasn't mad about the ref. I wasn't mad. He gave some. He booked Dembele. He didn't touch him.
No, he didn't touch him.
He didn't touch him. So I wasn't mad about the ref, but I wouldn't blame the ref for our misgivings.
So you'll be taking 8 to 10.
I'll take 8 to 10 Man City. They're too good.
Yeah.
They are too good. And Spurs have struggled. They've stuttered to where they are.
Yeah.
They've
only lost 2. They've won 7 and lost 2. Lost to Liverpool.
They played well, Man United.
Yeah.
Give them credit there. But sheesh, every other team. The second half, they were clinging on against Newcastle.
Yeah.
They were hanging on against West Ham. What is this hanging on? Take off a striker and bring on a defender.
Yeah.
Come on, Pochettino. Come on. Gee.
But
No. They get rolled. They get rolled. They catch 3-1.
Okay.
Right. Let's go to the Championship, Budge. Yeah. This is really hot because just on yesterday's fixtures, Bud, it's opened it up again.
Yeah. Every week, Paul. We went for Forest, they got beat by Norwich.
Yes.
I fancied West Brom, they got murdered by Derby. You think it's just an inconsistent league. That's why the prices are so great.
When they were starting the league, Bud, just said my 2 teams to go up were Aston Villa and QPR. Yeah. Aston Villa can't go up unless they really go for it.
Now, do you know who the form team in the Championship is?
Form team in the Championship, Derby?
QPR. The last 10 games, they've won 6.
That's good for them.
So the Wally with the Brolly, as everybody calls it, this is a big game for him.
Wally's doing a job there.
He's nothing wrong with him, Paul. QPR, they've got no money. You've got to scheme and
you don't
get
want to take
loan
England.
players.
There's a wardrobe full of failures as managers of England from most countries.
Yeah.
And that's what buried him.
Yeah.
From Taylor down to all the international, Goran Eric, what was his name? The guy?
Sven-Goran Eriksson.
Yeah, all of them. Even the big chunky Italian after him. They got there's a litany of failures.
Well, I just think the press think they're better players than what they actually are.
And they get some guy with a waistcoat and he's done the best they've ever done.
He's a player, that's why. I think QPR Villa, Paul, big game for both teams.
But just before we finish, let's stay on England for a moment. Where are the quality midfielders that these international European teams produce? I watch Juventus, I watch all these teams. They've got quality across the middle. They pass the ball quickly. We got players across the middle. Eriksen's a very tidy player, but he's alone there. Lamela hasn't got what he's got. Those players at Spurs, go look at Man United. They say he's one pace matter.
No, we got no players.
But suddenly, when Arsenal put it together with the midfield players and Man City, they're the 2 best to watch.
Well, bear in mind, Man City's 2 key midfield players are De Bruyne, who's a forward, and David Silva, who's a winger.
Yeah.
So they're creative players, and obviously attacking wingers should be creative.
What they got either side of them? Everyone can play. If they go this way, they go to Mahrez. They go this way, they go to somebody. The other Silva
hasn't worked in Europe, though.
Sorry, not yet.
Oh, how much more money are you going to spend on them?
Yeah, but listen, it's all about money, Butch. How do you think Chelsea got to the top? How do you think Abramovich came along? He flew over and saw the stadium and said, I'm going to take them. Yep. You go look how much money has been thrown at your beloved United.
No doubt. But, our best players that we've created, how many players that come through the youth system?
They're like Maroon 5.
Yeah.
Man United and like Maroon 5. They're both rubbish without Fergie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I just think it's just no creative players. We're the Gascoignes of this world. I thought that young boy who went to Bournemouth from Arsenal.
Was at West Ham now,
Yeah, West Ham. He was a quality player on the ball.
Always injured.
Always injured. I like watching the Mahrezes. They brought in Mahrez from nowhere.
88 million, Man City, okay,
no, Leicester.
Yeah.
And they won the league.
Yeah.
They won the league. Vardy scored 11 games in a row. I'd like to see some player beat that.
No, they won't beat that.
They won't be 11
in a row. He beat Van Nistelrooy's record at 10.
Yeah, it'll never be beat. Okay, sorry to digress.
Yeah, no problem, Paul.
Okay, QPR, you
go. I like QPR. It's a big game for both teams. The guy got the Aston Villa job. Aston Villa parents, everyone. They beat Swansea 1-0 at home. Everyone thought this was it. They got beat the other day.
They play last night?
No, they got beat on Tuesday. Norwich beat them 2-1 away. So a big game.
Okay,
for
big game.
QPR, yeah.
Middlesbrough Derby?
Well,
big
you know,
game,
Frank
mate.
Lampard, it's a lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. Frank Lampard's team, 4-1 last night, West Brom. Hard to win there. So you've got to give them a chance.
Yeah.
But I think people will be wary now of Derby. Be a tight game, Paul. Don't be surprised
The
if
next
it's a
game's
draw.
tight, I thought too. Is it 8-10 Birmingham?
Birmingham haven't lost in 10 games, Paul. They've won 4 and drawn 6.
They're-
Sheffield
they're not in the
Wednesday
top
are
10.
no. Yeah, they've just drawn too many games.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday away from home have won 3 and lost 3.
Yeah.
Birmingham are the 2 teams, but a draw a big player.
How about Bolton?
Well, it's a relegation game. They're both out of form.
Hull have to start turning it.
Well,
Where are they going to go?
Yeah, they were tipped to go down them and Ipswich. But I
Bristol?
think a draw a big player there. Bristol City won last night. They scored in injury time. You know, Stoke City, Paul, I like Stoke. Slowly but surely, they're getting it together. The Premiership
Do you know where
players...
they are in the league?
Yeah, they're about
17th.
17th. There's not many
17th.
points till the playoff. You
Yeah.
win 2 or 3 games in a row like Norwich did, and you're
Fulham.
up there.
Remember Fulham?
Yep.
Fulham came with a great
So
run.
a draw a big player there for
Okay,
me, Paul.
Millwall on
Well, Millwall
20th.
at home are always hard to beat, Paul. You know, Ipswich are bottom of the league and struggling. You know, likewise in this league, the form goes out the window, but you've got to fancy Millwall of the 2 team.
Okay.
Now, here's my best value bet of the week, Paul. Norwich City. You know, at home, they're playing great. You know, they beat Forest last week through 2 set pieces. The main striker's back. They beat Aston Villa 2-1. Brentford are struggling.
That's a
They
good
got beat.
boss.
Yeah, he's a German. But Brentford are struggling. They lost their manager to Aston Villa. Last 2 games, they got beat at home, and Preston murdered them last night. So 15-10 Norwich.
The
We're on
North
the
End
roll.
are coming well, eh?
On the
Okay,
roll.
will
2 in a
Preston
row.
win again?
Yep, we're unbeaten in 4, Paul.
Okay, how about Sheffield?
Sheffield United, hard to beat, Paul.
Okay.
6 home games, 1-4, drawn 2. They drew with Stoke in midweek. Wigan away from home are terrible. So
Okay.
Sheffield United. Now Swansea are Jekyll and Hyde team, Paul. You know, Reading had won 3 of the last 6 league games, but away from home they're not too good. You know, Swansea 6 home games, 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2. You know, got to fancy Swansea are the 2 teams, but a
West
draw is
Brom,
a player.
Blackburn?
Well, I think West Brom are aimers, but
Blackburn
they got
are
beat.
9th, eh?
Yeah, done well, Blackburn, Paul, but West Brom at
Fourth.
home. They
They
got
need
beat
to
last
win.
night.
They need to win.
They'd won five games in a row prior to that at home. I
Yeah.
think they'll bounce back.
Leeds?
No, I like Forest, Paul. I was on them last week. Defensively, they got caught. I think a draw a big player in that game.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at the PSL
PSL.
fixtures.
Yeah.
But tell me about
Yeah, it
Bidvest.
kicks off on Friday.
I would take evens.
Yep, I will be, Paul. They're not in our bets because obviously by the time the show flies, but even money Bidvest fits, they look good things. Next game, I like Polokwane, Paul. They're unbeaten in 7. They got done in a penalty shootout by Supersport and the Telkom. Maritzburg, while they're going well, they just don't score goals.
Yeah.
You know, I think Polokwane score. I think they'll win, Paul.
Pirates second in
Well,
the log, Chiefs third in the log. Where are they playing this?
This is at FNB, so it'll be 90,000. The last time Chiefs beat Pirates was 3 years ago. They haven't won in the last 10. Obviously, 7 of the last 10 have been a draw. Somehow I think there'll be goals in this, Paul.
Okay.
You know, of the 2 teams, well, the betting gives Pirates, but I fancy Chiefs. I can't believe they 5-2 against Pirates. But the draw,
Big player.
naturally, is a big player.
Cape Town City, Amazulu, interesting game.
You know, after Tuesday night, you know, Amazulu murdered them 2-0.
Yeah.
It's hard to go to Cape Town and win as we know, but I think Amazulu got to go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bottom of the league after losing the 6 points.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if they get a good result there, Paul.
Chipper?
Yeah, hard to see Chipper, but I watched them against Pirates. They played well, Paul. They got beat 1-0, but they had chances. They've won the last 2 home games. Sundown's the best team in the league, or player-wise. 13-10. I hummed and hard whether I was going to have a go at that, Paul, but
Yeah.
I think a draw is obviously a player in that game.
Okay.
Supersport won the last 5 at home. Always hard to beat at home. Clint's team just don't score many goals. You know,
tough, eh?
Supersport 9-10 in our bets, Paul.
Bloom?
And I think the Bloom Celtic, the Sundowns was a good game. They got
Yeah.
beat 1-0, but they played well. I think they'll be too good for Baraka, Paul. I think that's the best bet in the
And the
in
Black Leopards?
PSL. That's a hard game, Paul. You know, Black Leopards don't get beat too often. I think they've only lost 2 of the 9 league games. Free State Stars at home in Bethlehem, decent. Away from home, poor. So of the 2 teams, Black Leopards, but that's the game I think will end in a draw.
All right, let's look at your bets, Budge. Tell me about your 6 here.
Yeah, for some unknown reason, they've thrown 2 games into R1, but can't say anything. You know, Bayern Munich should be too good for Mainz. You know, I've gone the field in the Soweto derby. I've gone Polokwane win and draw at home against Maritzburg. I've gone the field with Cape Town City and Amazulu. I've gone Sundowns win and draw at Chipper, and I've banked Benfica to beat Belenense.
Okay.
216.
Next one.
Yeah, the English one, Premiership one. I've gone the field with Brighton and Wolves. I've gone, while I like Bournemouth, I've thrown the draw in because we can. I've gone Bournemouth win and draw. Liverpool should be too good for Cardiff. I've gone the field in the relegation scrap between Southampton and Newcastle. I've thrown the draw in with Watford and Huddersfield purely because I think Leicester will beat West Ham 216. You want to halve your perm, banker Watford, but I've thrown the draw in looking for an upset.
Right, how's the 10?
In the 10, I've gone Birmingham win and draw at home against Sheffield Wednesday. Likewise, Bolton win and draw at home against Hull City. I've gone the field with Brighton and Wolves. I've sided with Stoke City at Bristol City. I've gone Stoke City win and draw. I've bankered Bournemouth. I think they're the best bet or value bet in the Premiership. I think Liverpool will be too good for Cardiff. I've gone the field with Southampton, Newcastle. I've bankered Watford to beat Huddersfield. Gone win and draw Nottingham Forest at Leeds. And I've bankered Leicester to beat West Ham, 288.
Okie dokie.
On to the 13. I've gone the field with Brighton and Wolverhampton. I've bankered Bournemouth to beat Fulham. Liverpool to beat Cardiff City. I've gone Southampton win and draw at Newcastle. I've bankered Watford to beat Huddersfield. I've gone Birmingham City win and draw at home against Sheffield Wednesday. Bolton win and draw at home against Hull. Second page, I've gone Millwall win and draw against Ipswich. I've bankered Norwich to beat Brentford. Sheffield United to beat Wigan. I've gone Swansea win and draw at home against Reading. I've bankered West Brom against Blackburn, and I've gone Stoke City win and draw at Bristol City, 326. Obviously, you want to halve your perm banker.
Before we get into your best bets, we need your best bet for a winning bet.
A winning
your best
bet,
value bet, like we did last week.
Yeah, well, winning bets, we took 100 Rand, 9 to 10 Spurs. I think it's Man City at the price, Paul, 9 to 10 Man City to beat Spurs.
8 to 10.
So, well, it'll be 9 to 10 somewhere.
And then your value
the best value bet is Norwich, 15 to 10 to beat Brentford.
Okay, that's very important. People always ask for Budgie's best bet and his value bet, and there they are. Okay, let's look at the best part.
The best part, the bets.
Run me through
these. Yeah, I've
gone
Bournemouth to beat Fulham. I've gone Leicester to beat West Ham. I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Man United-Everton game. And I've gone Arsenal to win and draw at Crystal Palace, and both teams to score. I think there'll be goals in that.
Okay.
So that worked out at 3,500 to 200. Onto the Championship, I think Norwich will be too good for Brentford. I've gone Sheffield United to beat Wigan. I've gone West Brom to beat Blackburn, and over 2.5 total goals in the game. And I've gone Notts Forest win and draw at Leeds United.
Okie dokie.
3,900 to 200. Yeah, the PSL, I've gone Polokwane to beat Maritzburg. I've gone Bloem Celtic to beat Baroka. I've gone Supersport to beat Golden Arrows. And I've gone both teams to score in the Pirates-Chiefs game. 16-1, 3,200 to 200. Both teams to score. Fiver, I've gone Brighton Wolves, Southampton Newcastle, Tottenham Man City, Bolton Hull, and Millwall Ipswich. 20-1, 4,000 to 200. Onto the Spanish La Liga, I've gone Celta Vigo to beat Eibar. I've gone Sevilla to beat Huesca by more than 1 goal. I've gone both teams to score in the Athletic Bilbao Valencia game. And I looked for a bit of value. I went a red card in the Barcelona Real Madrid game, Paul. And there'll be over 6-7 bookings in that game. Pressure on both clubs, especially Real Madrid.
Red card's a tough call.
Yeah,
what did they give you for that?
No, it was 14 to 10. I was a bit disappointed. I thought it would be more.
I would have gone for bigger. Gee,
but,
red card.
I just think it's got it written all over with the pressure on both teams. No Messi.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a bit of fireworks. 2,800 to 200. And on to the Six or Nexa. I've gone Leicester to beat West Brom. Sorry, I've gone Leicester to beat West Ham. West Brom to beat Blackburn. Juventus to beat Empoli. Bayern Munich to beat Mainz. I've gone Sevilla to beat Huesca, and Bloem Celtic to beat Baroka. 2,500 to 200.
Gee, interesting times, Budge. Interesting times. But very interesting in the league this weekend. And as you can see, when's the kickoff, Budge?
It starts Friday night with Wits. So in the Championship, which we haven't got an interest in, but I'll be backing Wits even money, Paul.
There'll be even money on the Friday. And then don't forget, I think there's 17 of you left in the last one standing. The favourite is Trevor Furry. Big Trev's had the reins for a long time.
Yep.
But now it's tough, Budge.
He was on Everton last week, and I was sitting in the box watching, and he'd laid a bet
Yes.
And the second leg was Everton. So he didn't know whether he wanted
Mixed
to win or
emotions.
lose. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he lost
Okay,
time.
well, there we go. That's it. Make sure you get your bets on Timelessly with Budge. There's 17 of you that's left. And until next time, stay on side.